Have you ever wondered what it would be like to taste a dish that has been cherished for thousands of years by desert nomads, Bedouin travelers, and modern-day food lovers alike? Camel meat, a culinary treasure in many corners of the world, may not be something you find on the menu at your local diner in the United States, but it carries with it a fascinating story, an ancient tradition, and a surprisingly modern appeal. It is one of those foods that bridges the gap between history and innovation, survival and indulgence. From the windswept deserts of Arabia and North Africa to bustling urban restaurants experimenting with exotic flavors, camel meat has taken a long and intriguing journey. Today, it is winning over chefs and adventurous foodies who are eager to discover flavors that go beyond the ordinary. Think of it as more than just a meal, it's a cultural experience, a taste of history, and a unique example of how sustainable food practices connect us to ancient traditions. The story of camel meat is deeply tied to the story of survival in some of the harshest climates on Earth. Thousands of years ago, when desert travelers crossed endless dunes, camels were not only their steadfast companions in transport but also their source of nourishment. These animals were revered for their endurance, their ability to go without water for weeks, and their unmatched resilience in environments where few other creatures could survive. Nomadic tribes in the Middle East and Africa relied on camels for milk, transport, and, when needed, meat. To them, camel meat wasn't simply food, it was life itself. As early as the 7th century, camel meat was recorded as a staple in Arabian diets, featured in traditional stews, roasts, and celebratory feasts. It was both practical and ceremonial, an ingredient reserved for special gatherings and moments of importance, a way to honor guests with something rare and meaningful. Fast forward to the modern day, and camel meat is finding itself at the center of renewed global attention. In a world where people are seeking leaner proteins and sustainable food choices, camel meat checks many boxes. It is lower in fat and cholesterol than beef, high in protein, and carries a unique flavor that some describe as a cross between beef and lamb, with a slightly sweet undertone. As interest in alternative proteins grows, camel meat has started to catch the eye of chefs in fine dining restaurants and food adventurers in search of their next unforgettable bite. Countries like the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Somalia, and even Australia are at the forefront of this industry, raising camels not just for milk but also for meat that is carefully processed, inspected, and exported to curious markets abroad. What once was seen purely as a food of necessity is now being celebrated as a delicacy. The journey of camel meat from the desert to the dinner plate begins in the vast arid landscapes where camels thrive. These animals are uniquely suited to desert life, capable of surviving up to 2 weeks without water and traveling long distances under the scorching sun. Their diet, consisting of desert shrubs and hardy vegetation, contributes to the distinctive taste of their meat. Unlike factory-raised livestock, camels are often raised in open, natural environments, which gives their meat a leaner profile and makes their production more sustainable compared to conventional beef farming. In regions like the Middle East and North Africa, camel herding is not only an agricultural activity but also a way of life, passed down through generations. Each camel represents resilience, tradition, and cultural heritage. When camels reach maturity and are selected for processing, great care is taken to ensure the highest standards of animal welfare and quality. The condition of the camel, its health, and its diet all play a role in shaping the flavor and tenderness of the meat. Once chosen, camels are transported to modern processing facilities where they are humanely slaughtered following strict halal guidelines and international food safety regulations. This stage is carefully monitored, not only to honor the cultural and religious importance of the process but also to guarantee consumer trust. Every step is documented and inspected, making sure the meat that leaves the facility is safe, clean, and of premium quality. Inside the processing plant, the work continues with precision. The carcasses are cooled and broken down into different cuts, just as with beef or lamb, but with the unique textures and characteristics that camel meat offers. Each cut is inspected by skilled workers, and strict hygiene standards are followed at every stage. Quality checks are conducted to ensure the meat is fresh, tender, and suitable for both local markets and international export. From steaks to ground camel, from roasts to sausages, the versatility of camel meat is showcased. Fun fact: camel meat is not only lower in cholesterol than beef, but it is also considered heart-healthy, making it an increasingly appealing choice for those who want to enjoy red meat without as much guilt. For many first-time tasters, the surprise is how familiar it feels, almost like beef but with a distinct twist that sets it apart. Beyond the plant, camel meat travels to restaurants, markets, and homes around the world. In the Middle East, it might be slow-cooked in a fragrant stew with spices, rice, and vegetables, offering a comforting dish that warms both body and spirit. In Somalia, grilled camel meat skewers, known as hilibari, are enjoyed as a street food favorite. In Australia, where camels roam in large numbers, the meat is being introduced to a curious audience eager for sustainable alternatives. And in fine dining circles, chefs experiment by using camel in gourmet burgers, exotic curries, or even fusion dishes that pair this ancient protein with modern techniques. For foodies, it represents the thrill of trying something new while connecting with traditions that span thousands of years. The production of camel meat also opens a conversation about sustainability. As climate change continues to challenge traditional agriculture, camels present a compelling case for the future. They require less water, can survive in environments unsuitable for cattle, and contribute less strain on ecosystems. This makes camel farming an eco-friendly option, especially in arid regions where conventional livestock struggle. By integrating modern farming techniques with ancient knowledge of camel rearing, producers are creating a balance between tradition and innovation. This not only ensures that camel meat is available for global consumers but also provides livelihoods for pastoral communities who have depended on camels for centuries. For many in the U.S., camel meat might still feel like a curiosity, something exotic you'd hear about on a travel documentary or food adventure show. But as global food trends shift toward exploring unique proteins and supporting sustainable farming, camel meat could find its way into more restaurants and specialty food shops. Just as sushi, quinoa, or bison meat were once considered niche but are now widely accepted, camel meat may be on a similar path. For those who are open-minded and adventurous, the experience of tasting camel meat is more than just about flavor. It's about participating in a story that connects us to the past, to distant cultures, and to the future of food. Have you ever wondered what it takes for a piece of meat to travel thousands of miles, maintain its flavor, and still end up tasting fresh on your plate? While beef, chicken, and pork dominate the shelves of American supermarkets, there's another type of meat that's slowly gaining global attention: camel meat. For centuries, camel meat has been a staple in Middle Eastern, African, and some Asian cuisines, valued for its nutritional profile and cultural significance. But today, thanks to modern processing, packaging, and distribution systems, camel meat is no longer limited to regions where camels roam the deserts. It's making its way across the world, landing in specialty stores, restaurants, and food festivals from Dubai to New York City. The journey from desert pastures to your dinner plate is nothing short of fascinating, blending tradition, science, and sustainability into one incredible story. Once camels are raised and the meat is harvested, the real challenge begins: preserving its quality for long distances and varied climates. Unlike many meats that spoil quickly if not handled properly, camel meat is carefully chilled or frozen almost immediately after processing. This isn't just to keep it safe, it's about locking in the natural tenderness and rich flavor that camel meat is prized for. Industrial freezers, capable of reaching extreme low temperatures, ensure that every cut is stored under controlled conditions. When chilled, camel meat can last several weeks, but when frozen properly, it can stay fresh for up to 12 months without losing its taste or nutritional value. Imagine meat that's been kept frozen in a storage facility in the United Arab Emirates, then shipped halfway across the globe to a U.S. specialty store, still tasting as if it were freshly cut just days earlier. That's the magic of preservation technology. Packaging plays an equally vital role in this journey. Every piece of camel meat is sealed using high-grade vacuum packaging that removes air and prevents bacteria growth. This method not only extends the shelf life but also keeps the meat's texture intact. In massive processing plants, workers and machines work hand in hand to carefully portion, seal, and label each cut. Some cuts are packaged for household use, while others are designed for restaurants or wholesale buyers. The packaging is also coded to include information about the origin, batch, and processing date, ensuring full traceability. Consumers today care about transparency, and knowing where their food comes from builds trust. Camel meat processors understand this, which is why so much effort goes into making packaging not only functional but also informative. From there, the distribution journey begins. Camel meat doesn't just travel across a city, it often travels across continents. Large refrigerated trucks, shipping containers, and cargo planes are all part of the logistics network that makes this possible. The cold chain, the system of keeping meat at safe, low temperatures throughout its journey, is tightly monitored at every stage. Even a small fluctuation in temperature could compromise quality, so sensors and data loggers are used to ensure conditions remain perfect. This allows camel meat to move from a processing plant in Saudi Arabia to a gourmet restaurant in Los Angeles without ever breaking the cold chain. Every mile is carefully calculated, and every shipment is backed by logistics experts who specialize in perishable goods. What's fascinating is just how far this meat can travel. On average, camel meat exported to international markets covers thousands of miles, crossing deserts, oceans, and climates before reaching consumers. Imagine a cut of camel tenderloin harvested in the hot deserts of North Africa, stored in ultra-cold freezers, loaded into a shipping container, and after weeks of careful transit, arriving fresh in a European or American market. That global journey represents not just the resilience of camel meat but also the innovation of modern food supply systems. But beyond logistics and flavor, camel meat also carries an important environmental story. Compared to other livestock, camels are remarkably eco-friendly. In regions where water is scarce, camels thrive on minimal resources. They require far less water than cattle, and their ability to graze on sparse, dry vegetation reduces pressure on fertile lands. This makes them a sustainable choice for communities living in arid climates. For many countries, investing in camel farming isn't just about culture or cuisine, it's about adapting to the challenges of climate change. With rising concerns about water scarcity and land degradation, camels provide a model of resilience that other livestock cannot easily match. Animal welfare also plays a central role in the camel meat industry. Over the years, producers have adopted stricter standards to ensure humane treatment. From the way camels are raised to the way they're transported and processed, more attention is being given to reducing stress and improving welfare practices. Governments and international organizations are pushing for transparency, ensuring that camel farming not only provides food but also aligns with ethical and sustainable practices. This ongoing commitment makes camel meat more than just another protein option. It represents a forward-thinking approach to food production. For U.S. audiences who may not be familiar with camel meat, the idea of trying it can sound unusual. Yet, food cultures around the world are constantly evolving, and adventurous eaters are always seeking new flavors and experiences. In recent years, camel meat has made appearances at international food festivals, exotic butcher shops, and even on the menus of upscale restaurants looking to offer something unique. Some describe its flavor as similar to beef but slightly sweeter and leaner. Rich in protein, low in fat, and packed with iron and vitamin B, camel meat has nutritional benefits that appeal to health-conscious consumers. In fact, for athletes and fitness enthusiasts, camel meat is often marketed as a leaner, healthier alternative to red meats like beef and lamb. The story of camel meat is ultimately one of balance. Balancing tradition with innovation, sustainability with global demand, and flavor with health. The meat that begins its journey in the harsh deserts of Africa or the Middle East doesn't just represent a meal. It represents centuries of cultural heritage, combined with modern advancements in packaging, refrigeration, and global trade. Each steak, roast, or skewer of camel meat on a plate carries with it a global supply chain, an environmental promise, and a story worth sharing. So the next time you see camel meat featured on a restaurant menu or displayed in a specialty store, you'll know that it has traveled a long, carefully managed journey to get there. From freezing rooms to cargo planes, from eco-friendly grazing practices to high-tech packaging, camel meat's path to your plate is one of the most fascinating food journeys in the world. It's not just about eating differently, it's about understanding how food connects us to distant cultures, sustainable practices, and the future of dining. If you're ready to explore something new, camel meat might just be the experience that takes your taste buds on a journey across deserts, oceans, and continents.